What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Thomas, and I'm here on the red carpet for Halloween Horror Nights opening event. And we're going to see a lot of familiar faces tonight. And let's ask some questions. Let's go. So I'm here with Jessica Garza of the Purge TV series. Jessica, thank you so much for coming. Is this your first time at Halloween Horror Nights?
No, I've been here several times.
So what's your favorite maze?
I mean, they're usually different every single year, but the Purge is always a staple for me. Okay. It's really exciting to me that it kind of opens the night. You know, the sirens blare and the characters go running, and I think that's really exciting. That's what always, like, before I had joined the show, that was always kind of like my favorite part.
Now, so the show, you play Penelope, and you do a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And as of this recording, we've only seen 2 episodes. Will there be an episode dedicated to Penelope's storyline?
Yeah.
Seeing the past of how she got to.
Yeah, so episode 5 is a big one for Penelope. She has a lot of flashbacks that go into really how she ended up in the cult. And episode 3 even has a lot with, you know, a lot of flashbacks for Miguel and Penelope as we were children. You know what I mean? So you really get to understand, you know, what we kind of went through together, and you know, and also how we both handled it so differently, you know? So it's 3 and 5 are both really good ones for Penelope and for Miguel too. Yeah.
And so what is it about the Purge that resonates so well with people, in your opinion?
I think what the Purge resonates so well is that it very closely could represent what America looks like. I mean, it does, and on, you know, like a metaphorical level of how divided we are as a country. I think that's what the Purge mirrors as well, and it shows, you know, how quickly things can go bad if we just fight and argue rather than try to listen and understand.
Jessica, thank you so much. So I am here with Pryor Ferguson of Stranger Things. Thank you so much. Is this your first time at Halloween Horror Nights?
Yes.
Are you excited?
Yes, I'm very excited.
So Stranger Things is one of the biggest properties here. How do you feel being part of Stranger Things, such a global phenomenon?
I feel it's such a blessing to me. The whole cast is really awesome and amazing.
And so of all the characters, who do you think you personally relate to the most? Not just your character, but which character do you think really embodies you?
Which character? It will probably be Matt's, because in season 2 she was really tough and like straightforward. And I feel like her and Erica relate a lot together.
Yes, I agree. Well, thank you so much, and I hope you have a lot of fun tonight. All right, so I'm here with Oliver Robbins, the original Robbie Freeling of Poltergeist. Now, Oliver, I want to tell you, personally, we love the Poltergeist because we live right by the house in Simi Valley, and so it's a very special place in our heart. And I want to ask you a little bit about your experience when, you know, were you 10 or were you 11 at the time?
I think it was 10 going on 11. It shot for like months. It just felt like it never really ended as a kid. It was like one of those summer camp experiences. You know, I just loved it.
Right. So, and of course, there are a lot of scary moments. Was there ever a part where you had to step away from the stage, or maybe they forced you out because of the scare, or were you just exposed to everything?
No, I was pretty much exposed to, I mean, you have to understand, filmmaking is kind of a tedious, long process, and I learned that more. I went to film school at SC, and I kind of learned how the whole process happens, and they got like a crash course when we were doing Poltergeist, because all the special effects are laid in afterwards, and you know, as an actor, you're like, why am I scared? What's going on? And then the director's like, okay, we want you to be completely terrified, and we all asked, like on the set, they said, well, Toby, like, what are we screaming at? What are we? He says, we don't know yet but ILM says it's going to be the scariest thing you can possibly think of. And we're like, okay. So they had little, like, sticks and things around, and they said, you're going to stare here, there's your eye line, but what you're looking at, the ghost is coming towards you, and you're totally terrified. So that's what we were imagining, just like, and I was trying to picture, like, the scariest possible thing I could think of.
And what was that?
I lived in this, believe it or not, I think I lived in this haunted house in New York City. It was built in, like, the 1860s, and I heard people walking up the stairs at night. My mom said, no, it's the house is like, this is creaking, it's an old house. I swear to this day, people are walking up those stairs. So I kind of channeled those fears when I was a little boy to that moment, too.
So have you always been a fan of horror, or was it just that one instant of horror? Or how do you view horror nowadays?
Well, as a kid, I really wasn't allowed to see any horror movies. My parents were really protective. I was a really sensitive kid. And strangely enough, they're like, they'll let you be in Poltergeist, because I wasn't able to see horror movies before Poltergeist. That was actually probably one of the first horror movies I'd actually ever seen. And since then, I just love the genre, too. I think it's an amazing, you can do so much with it. You can play with it. And, people are like, well, what do you think of remakes and things like that? And I think if you reinvent the whole concept, you take it to a new level, you take things from our society, you mix it into the mix, into the fold, you can create something kind of amazing, too. Because I think the genre is constantly changing. In 50, 100 years from now, you'll have your classics, but you're going to see a whole new level of filmmaking, different kinds of storytelling and horror. And I think people are always going to want to be scared by horror movies, no matter what era we live in.
Thank you so much, Oliver, and I hope you have a great time tonight.
Okay, thanks so much for having me, too.
I'm here with the creator of not just one Halloween Horror Nights maze, but two that we have seen, Trick or Treat and Krampus. Michael Dougherty, thank you so much for being here. Now, one quick question about, you have now made a very sinister version of Christmas and a very sinister version of Halloween. What other holidays would you consider making sinister versions of?
Passover.
Passover.
Yeah,
all right.
I think you'd make an excellent horror film with the angel of death and the lamb's blood and all that. I mean, why not have a Jewish holiday horror movie?
I think that'd be great. I think that'd be fantastic. And so it was a student project for Trick or Treat, right? When you wrote it, what was the inspiration behind Trick or Treat, making it an anthology rather than just one succinct storyline?
I mean, I grew up on anthology horror because it was in the theater, it was on TV. Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, Creep Show. It's like you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting anthology horror for a long time.
Right.
And then it just went away in the 90s. Like someone just pushed a button and they disappeared. So I figured, well, everything's cyclical. Something that's out of fashion is suddenly in fashion. So I figured I would get ahead of the curve and try and do horror anthology comedy, only to have every single studio in town slam their door in my face. So, but here we are today, and anthology's back. Yeah.
And is this your first time at? No, it's not your first time at Halloween Horror Nights, but it's going to be your first time going through the maze with all the actors.
Yes. I'm hoping I can work the maze one night. Like
really?
I want to don a costume and get in.
Which character would you want to?
Be the mystery.
All right. Well, Michael, thank you so much, and have a wonderful time tonight. I'm here with Quinn Lord of course, Trick or Treat. Now, he looks a little bit different than he does in the movie, that's for sure, because we don't really see your face in the movie. But so, Quinn, what was it about Trick or Treat that you wanted to become a part, be Sam?
I think it was sort of the Halloween theme at the time. Also, I wanted to try out playing a villain because being 7-year-old, I was like, hey, I want to try being the bad guy.
Right.
Or I want to try this. Because, before that, I'd do, a little bit of TV, a little bit of movie. Well, I think that was probably my first, movie out of my career. And just right out the door, oh, look, now I'm walking the red carpet for something I did when I was 7. It was my first movie. But, yeah, I was extremely lucky. But also it was extremely fun.
Right.
But no one ever really thinks it's going to be this giant, big red carpet deal, especially when it's that long ago. It's just built up this cult following, and now it's going to become a sequel. Really? Hopefully.
Would you reprise your role if there was a sequel?
One of my 2 roles, maybe. The monkey outfit again. But what would have been a really interesting twist is if Sam kills my alternate character. So I ended up killing myself in the sense of one of my characters killing the other one. Yeah, it'd be really...
One thing that some of the actors do is that here at Halloween Horror Nights, for one of the special nights, they dress up as a character. So would you want to dress up as Sam for one of the nights?
I didn't know that was a thing. I wish it knew so I could pack a costume before I come here. You got me. But yeah, I usually love dressing up for Halloween because that's what really got me into it. Because Halloween, one night of the year. And if you miss that night, you're going to be dressed up as Sam or Deadpool or this or that on the day after. It's like, oh yeah, he still got his Halloween outfit on. But when you're an actor, it's almost like Halloween for as long as you're shooting. For months on end, it was, oh yeah, get dressed up, play the villain. That was awesome.
So we have one quick question about a particular scene. It's the scene when Sam is going against Mr. Krieg. We were wondering, there's a particular scene where Mr. Krieg shoots Sam and there's a wee sound. Was that you?
I can't remember exactly, but I'm probably 80 to 90% sure that I did ADR for that.
Awesome.
Where it was like a
That's
but yeah, that was definitely that was awesome too because that was some parts of that was that was a stunt double, but for a lot of that, I wanted to try and do as many of the stunts as possible. I couldn't do the climbing on the ceiling, sadly. That would have been awesome. Spider, pumpkin, demon. Yeah.
Well, Quinn, thank you so much, and I hope you have a lot of fun at the event tonight. Thank you. So I'm here with the writer and director of Halloween 4, Allen McElroy and Dwight Little. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Quick question. When you were writing, when you were directing the return of Michael Myers, did you know that he was going to be such an iconic horror character these 30 years later?
Dwight? Well, my feeling was we gave it 120% for 12 weeks of our life, and then we had to cut it and finish it and get it in the theater. I think by the time we were done, we were like, what did we do? And I didn't know until the first time we tested the movie. It was a rough cut with rough music and all that. But we ran it for an audience, and then I knew what we had. But you never know, right? Until you show it to an audience. And they were screaming. I was like, okay.
Well, it was my first feature film credit, and I think I just poured my heart and soul into it, and I think that just comes across in the screen. I think it's just so. The passion and the soul is like it's literally in the celluloid of the movie, and people just love it. They feel it. They experience it.
Yes. We were completely committed to this movie.
That's great. That's great. So now with the fact that you are here for Halloween Horror Nights, Halloween 4 is here. What are some of the scenes that you are hoping to see, if you haven't already seen, with the full characters now?
Well, I was saying I'm kind of hoping for Penny's Diner.
Okay.
Because it's the first time Dr. Loomis sees Michael after 10 years. So I'm very excited to see Penny's Diner.
Yes. I'm hoping that we get to see Jamie's bedroom. You know,
yes,
that
such
scene.
An iconic scene.
Oh, yes. Open the door and he's in the closet. Open the other door and he's coming through. Then the hand comes out from under the bed. Come on.
I do have a little secret to tell you that the facade of the house is Penny's Diner.
Nice.
Wow.
So first thing you see, right as you say the first thing you see of Michael in the movie, you see Penny's Diner first thing entering the maze.
This is a thrill. You know, you don't know when you make something 30 years ago that it's going to still resonate all these years later. So the fact that they picked us, it's a real honor.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, that Halloween 4, when I got the email that this was going to be a Halloween Horror Night maze, I thought somebody was pranking me. I thought, there's no way. And then it's just incredible. Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful time tonight.
Okay.
Now, looking back on it, so what movie are you never going to see ever again after watching all these movies so many times?
I think they're forever burned into my brain. I don't think I can do that. No, I mean, you know, that part of the process is just research, and going through these things so many times. But you get to know them so well. Like, whenever movies come on, even ones I love, after we've done them as Horror Nights, it's a different thing watching them. It has a different, like Exorcist used to terrify me. I had a hard time even watching the movie, and it's like doing the maze cured me of that, and it doesn't have the same effect on me. So it's strange when you're that intimate with a property. It changes your perception of it by the time you're done with it.
So with all these mazes, which one was, in your opinion, the hardest to not conceptualize, but to actually make physically in one of the mazes?
Probably Stranger Things and Universal Monsters and Poltergeist. I would say those three. There's a lot of effects in these mazes. Poltergeist would be the heaviest on the effects side. So that's always tough because in a movie it just has to work once. You know, in our world it has to work every 10 seconds. And you know, people don't, in production, you don't do things like that. You don't make a giant beast head that pops out of the closet every 2 seconds, you know. So it's always a challenge to make things like that not only look good, but they work. And performers can actually use them, you know. That's a very difficult challenge every year. You can't just think of the aesthetic. You have to think of the ergonomics. You have to think of everything that goes into it. The engineering, it's you know, when kids are wanting to do this, they're always thinking about the creative side, but you don't think about all the math and science that goes into it, you know. So study math and science, kids.
And one final question. So Halloween's coming out, Blumhouse Productions, and it's already getting such high praise from it.
Reviews.
Would you want to see Horrors of Blumhouse become a staple for Halloween Horror Nights on an annual basis?
Well, it's kind of starting to, because now we're doing it again. We've always had a great relationship with Blumhouse. We've done a whole lot of their properties. We're always, you know, they're so cool about sharing stuff. They always send me scripts before anybody. And a lot of these, in fact, I designed off the script because of the way the schedule worked. Like, Truth or Dare, when you go through that section of Horrors of Blumhouse, there's scenes in that aren't in the movie at all. They got cut. But they work good as maze scenes, so it's kind of fun. I think people are going to get to see a different side of those movies tonight.
John Murdy, thank you so much, and have a lot of fun tonight.